Hey, it's Niclas. And yes, Anthology 2 is actually real, in case some of you were thinking it was all just a fever dream like me. But nope, the game is real and dropping exclusively for the PS5 next year. Good thing I plan to buy one later this summer. In this video, I want to give you my honest thoughts on the game, its announcement and upcoming release, while also already taking a quick look at some of the less positive reactions to the reveal. Because unsurprisingly, not everyone is happy, which with gaming discourse these days isn't necessarily shocking. But are people's negative reactions justified? For now, let's focus on my personal thoughts on Anthology 2 and its announcement, because I wasn't 100% positive about it in the past either. I made a video 2 years ago talking about whether or not we need an Anthology sequel after we got to see that post-credits scene in the Anthology remake on PC. Funnily enough, I made another video before that where I talked about the rumor of a sequel itself and even talked about Firesprite looking for people to work on a branching horror adventure game from an established IP. That's by the way why the name Firesprite rings some bells in my head during the reveal reaction. Come on. Wait, what? Remember Firesprite being involved? Had I remembered the name more clearly, I would have immediately expected it to be Anthology 2. Let's get back to that sequel talk video. And good god, was my lightning setup terrible. Here I talked about how Anthology as a game and story was never made with the intention of a sequel. It's perfect the way it is. So why would Sony now release Anthology 2 over a decade after the original after all?
The Krusty Krab 2! First of all, congratulations, Mr. Krabs.
Hello, I like money.
What inspired you to build a second Krusty Krab right next door to the original?
Money.
Praising yourself is kinda weird, but goddamn is the script on that video strong, because everything I said there still applies now, one way or another. Too bad the audio quality also sucks. Holy moly, why did my videos look and sound so bad for so long? So while I could technically just play portions of that video here, let me rephrase things with a little more current context. Because back then I kind of already expected Sony to release Anthology 2, not necessarily as a direct sequel to the first game, but much more as a launch of their own Dark Pictures anthology, where we focus on the keep everyone alive until dawn premise with new characters and set pieces. Which is basically the Dark Pictures anthology, but now for Sony themselves. And this thought and idea appears to be true, even if Anthology 2 does actually build upon the story of the first game. The inclusion of Dr. Hill and potentially Sam certainly confirms it. I mean, yeah, it has been confirmed that the game plays in the same universe. But we like mentioned trade the cast of characters we all know and love with a new round of potentially dead meat as we swap the cold Blackwood Mountains for a tropical island in Asia. Which, as I said back then as well, I think is a really good idea. And arguably the better approach. Because like I said earlier, some people were not so happy about the announcement of Anthology 2. Mostly because of the fact that we do not have the same cast as back in the original, as it's less of a sequel, but like mentioned, the launch of a new franchise with connections to the original. And while I understand that some people would be upset over not seeing their favorite characters from back then again, I did also mention in my older video that there is honestly no point in doing that. Like I said, Anthology and its story are perfect. I understand wanting more and more of characters you love and grew close to, but what would a direct sequel of the OG really bring to the table? I made a comparison to The Descent in the old video, a perfect horror movie that got a sequel focusing on the same main character, taking place in the same cave as the first one, all while not doing anything new and just the same things and less interesting, resulting in an enjoyable but pretty much unnecessary sequel. What could have been cool, I guess, is an It Chapter 2 approach, where we see the teenagers grow up and kind of go back to the mountains to deal with an infected Josh or something. But I don't know, man, it would, like mentioned, just kind of be the same thing we already did before. And again, all post-Until Dawn games are basically the same thing we already did before. At least in the core premise and idea. What makes all these post-Until Dawn games so fun and enjoyable is because they take that incredible core premise and idea and give it to us with new settings, new characters, and new threats. Of course, we also could have sent the Until Dawn crew to a tropical island where they suddenly get attacked by another big bad monster. Which I guess, yeah, it would have been cool. I understand why people dislike the idea of releasing a game called Anthology 2 when it does not feature the original cast, even though one could have technically done something in that direction. But I like mentioned thought that the original is perfect the way it is, and while I would have appreciated another adventure with Sam, Mike, Emily and co, I'm also not mad about not getting it, and appreciate seeing another new adventure with new characters, with the possibility of seeing some old familiar faces. The question that I and many others did ask themselves though, is why do we need to call it Until Dawn 2? Why does this new horror choice-based game have to be considered Until Dawn 2 and be loosely connected to the original, rather than something new entirely? And well,
Money!
can we really blame Sony here? Because I certainly can't. It makes all the sense in the world for Sony to take this well-known and for many iconic IP and name and launch their own Dark Pages anthology with that name attached, rather than with a new title no one heard before. Because I will be honest, my reaction at the state of play would have not looked the way it did if anything but Until Dawn 2 appeared at the end of that trailer. While watching it, I immediately felt the choice-based game vibes, and the moment it turned into horror, my mind went towards Until Dawn 2 even more. But I was keeping myself calm and collected, as it, like mentioned, could have been something else. Only once I saw beautiful Peter Stormare, and I knew this was Until Dawn related, and only once I saw the logo, I knew it was Until Dawn 2, and that's when my excitement was raised by millions of levels. Would I have been excited either way for a The Quarry-like standalone game after watching that trailer? Of course, I love horror, I love choice-based games, I was gonna be excited and hyped regardless, but certainly not to this extent. The fact that it is Until Dawn 2, rather than something new entirely, does make me way more hyped and excited. And that's exactly why Sony did it. That's exactly why Sony drops Until Dawn 2, rather than the Horror Island experience or whatever. Anything else would have simply been stupid, honestly. And while I understand disappointment over little involvement from the old cast, I do not understand criticism towards this business decision by Sony. I genuinely only see positives here, because it's not like this new game is gonna destroy the original and its story. That will forever remain. No matter what happens with Until Dawn 2, we will always have the OG and its brilliance. So what is there to be upset about? I'm very optimistic and excited for this game, especially after this Reddit post I saw earlier, which highlights some of the people at Firesprite working on the game, which includes many experienced hands that already worked on Until Dawn, The Quarry, and other titles on the Supermassive Games, and more people that worked on God of War, The Last of Us, Red Dead Redemption 2, and even someone that wrote on Dispatch, The Walking Dead Telltale series, and more. Until Dawn 2 is in very good hands, and I'm 100% confident it's going to be an incredible game. Will it capture that same spark, magic, and feeling as the original? Maybe. Probably not. Does it need to in order to be an enjoyable time? I don't think so. I can't wait to talk even more about it in a video planned for this weekend, where I want to share some of my personal hopes for the game, and even share a couple of old and other people's theories after the announcement trailer. For now, I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a like to show me that you did. Tell me your thoughts about Until Dawn 2 and its announcement down below in the comments as well. And as always, if you enjoy what I'm doing, if you want to support me, then gladly leave a sub as well, or become a channel member to support me even further. It would help me a lot. Other than that other Until Dawn 2 video, we also got Summer Games Fest tomorrow, and I obviously still got a lot of Directive 8020 videos planned. Till then, it's Niclas, enjoy some video games, and I can't wait to see you back soon on my channel.